Good Tuesday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Jacob Wycoff, joined by our executive weather producer, Terry Eliasen. It has been a busy weather week, and we're only 2 days in.
It's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday, yes.
Earthquakes, snow, wind, I mean,
we'll just chug through them all. But we do have a next weather alert in effect for immediate purposes, but also as we look ahead into tomorrow, too.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll get into this in a minute, but we've had some very gusty winds today wreaking a little bit of havoc. Thankfully, that's going to die down in the next few hours, and then it's going to be all about the snow tonight. So let's take a look at we'll go over the headlines for the snow first, probably what is most of interest to most folks. Period of snow tonight. It's going to be a really quick mover. Yeah. And probably mostly fall while everybody's sleeping.
And we should stress that this is like light snow. This isn't like just buckets of snow falling from the sky. A coating to 2 inches, really in most areas, maybe a little bit higher amounts as you go far north and west of town. This could cause some slow travel, but I think timing-wise, this may work in our favor in the sense that if this ends at 5 a.m., most people aren't on the road yet. Gives the crews a few hours to kind of get ahead of it. Yeah,
if you're going to get a period of snow and a couple inches, I think, this is probably the best timing we could ask for. I mean, if folks maybe just wait an hour or two extra tomorrow morning, I mean, I don't know how many folks are on the roads at 5, but if you're going to go out at 6 or 7, maybe give it another hour, and roads should be improving quickly.
We do have a cold front that's moving through. If you notice the wind really picking up, or perhaps you saw a few snow showers earlier, this is all courtesy of that cold front moving through. And these are just some of the latest wind gusts, anywhere from 40 to 50 miles an hour. We did get some isolated wind gusts from Lawrence at 64, 60 miles per hour as you go to Worcester. I did get one report out of Milton at Blue Hill Observatory of 65 miles an hour. Jeez. It's definitely gusty out there.
I mean, anything over 50 or 60 is destined or bound to cause some sort of wind damage. And we have seen a couple structure collapses, a couple trees down. My guess is that for the next hour or two, and again, this recording as of 12:30, through about 2 or 3 o'clock, we're going to continue to see some of the wind damage happening. But thankfully, the wind advisory that the National Weather Service has up does expire at 3 p.m. today, so we really only have a short window here for these really extreme wind gusts, and then they'll be dying out this evening.
The highest wind gust in Boston at 53, that was at about 11:25 in the morning. So we do have that wind advisory up, as Terry mentioned, until about 3 o'clock. Watch the winds as they die down.
Really quick.
Yeah, very quickly. It's really the just beyond the front as it moves through. It is ushering in some colder air. We hit our highs for the day already. Overnight, the winds, I don't want to say calm, but certainly calm down quite a bit.
Much more, yeah, absolutely.
And then we turn our attention to north and west, a clipper system moving in. Just after midnight, period of light snow will overspread the area, really like north of Route 44 and certainly north of the Mass Pike. Best chance to pick up some accumulating snow. And by 4 or 5 in the morning, we are starting to see it wind down.
Yeah, look at how quick that is. I mean, again, from about, we're talking 10 or 11 p.m. tonight. So figure first flakes in Western Mass around 9 or 10, Central Mass 10 to 11. Eastern Mass 11 to midnight, and then final flakes are, it's really like a 3 to 5 hour, 4 to 6 hour event, and it's done.
Yep, it's
done.
So
by 7 a.m. the sun's out.
The sun's out. We'll get some melting done. Temperatures do rise back into the upper 30s and low 40s. Then we turn our attention to the afternoon. So we sort of bookend the day with we start it with some snow showers, and we're going to end it with some maybe snow squalls and raindrops. And if you're wondering what a snow squall is, I want to show some video from a little earlier from Beverly Airport. This is what we saw earlier. Really reduced visibility. We have to thank our news crew that fly in our chopper for shooting this video. Pretty cool stuff. You can see the reduced visibility, right? It temporarily coats the ground. You can't see very far ahead of you. It's not a huge deal unless you're caught in one of these snow squalls, and it could make the roads slick pretty quickly. Like I said, drop the visibility. So that's what a snow squall looked like. That was this morning.
It can also act a little bit like a summertime thunderstorm in that it's quick. So 1 minute the sun could be out, the next minute all of a sudden it's snowing to beat the band, and you've got an inch of snow on the ground in say 10 minutes. And so obviously it's not something that a plow or a crew can keep up with. You just got to hope they pre-treat the roads well. But if you're out and about tomorrow afternoon, say between 2 and 4 or 5 p.m., if one of these snow squalls hits and you're in the car and you're on the roads, just beware that, you know what, it's going to be really quick and maybe over and out in 5 or 10 minutes, but the roads could get hazardous quickly. Now, there will be, it's kind of like, it's borderline between rain and snow showers because the colder air is kind of coming in at the same time. But needless to say, not something to, to sneeze at tomorrow afternoon. If you're out and about, just beware, kind of be weather ready, as we say. Take a quick check of the radar or BZ before you head out.
Absolutely.
Could be a dangerous situation for a brief period of time tomorrow.
So behind this, we have cooler air that will spill in. We mentioned some of the snow, likely a coating to 2 inches kind of for most of us. You have to get into the higher elevations of Worcester County, into the Monadnock region, and into the Berkshires to get those sort of 2 to 4 inch totals. I would say on a scale of like big deal or not a big deal, somewhat like not, sort of in the middle. It's not a huge deal, I think, overall. But, as we close out the month of January, we have this snow chance and maybe one as we approach the weekend too. Yeah, so
again, coating to 2 for most. I think anything south of Boston, so if anything south of the Pike is I don't think anyone's getting 2 inches down there. It's probably a coating, maybe an inch just south of town. Once you get south of, say, Plymouth, Providence, it's probably nothing. To see the best chance of plowable snow would be north and west of town, certainly up into southern New Hampshire, northernmost Massachusetts, northern Worcester Hills. And the Berkshires probably be jackpot area where they could get 3 or 4 inches. But like you said, all in all, a relatively minor event. But if you happen to be on the roads when the snow's coming down between midnight and 6 a.m. or so, what could be snow covered and could be a little slippery.
Absolutely. Yep. So we expect the biggest impacts between about 3 o'clock and 6 a.m. 6 a.m. the snow will be out of here, but obviously lingering impacts from that. As far as the next 5 days goes, we have some ups and downs.
We do.
True roller coaster type day. We will see Wednesday getting back into the low 40s, so a lot of what falls will melt away. And then Thursday we have cool air that spills in, but it's a brief shot of Arctic air. So it's very transient in the sense that we're back into the 40s for Friday then. Highs on Thursday only getting into the upper 20s and low 30s. And then feels like temperatures, though, on Thursday morning will be bitterly cold. You're talking below 0 in a lot of spots. Inland, 5 degrees for Boston. Once again, the wind kind of picking up with that cold air.
Here we go again. It feels like every week we've had a shot of cold air. And thankfully this week it's really it's a 24 to 36 hour event. And then it's gone. And I got a feeling that this is going to be the story as we go into February. Big ups and downs, cold shots followed by warm shots, just a lot of variability in the weather from day to day, week to week. Get ready. I think February may be the most interesting month. I mean, I feel like winter thus far has been sort of, it's kind of nothing really to write home about. If you were to think back 6 months ago or 6 months in the future to now, you'd be like, what was winter like? Kind of coldish.
I would definitely say cold. Yeah, for sure. The way that I describe it to students is we have a lot of cold air available to us, just not a lot of storms to tap into that, right? A lot of times in winters past, we've had the storms, we just haven't had the cold air. So at some point, these will line up, right?
I got a feeling February, I'm probably not as much cold air around in February, or at least consistently cold, but definitely probably a more active storm track with a lot. Again, if you get air masses changing from warm to cold, you're bound to get some action there. In the middle, so.
Yeah, it will line up for sure. So to Terry's point, we'll see how we ring it in. But as we close out the month of January, this is another system we'll be watching. This is likely bringing us perhaps some rain and maybe wintry mix far north and west of town. But at the moment, this is a little bit milder of a solution, at least what you're seeing right now. And then we clear up right in time for February 1st.
I'd say the confidence in this Friday storm is relatively low at this point. I think we need to wait at least another 24 hours before we're comfortable saying it's just a rain event, or it's a mix, or frankly, I wouldn't even be shocked if this were to go further south and sort of just fringe or miss us. So
the reason you say that, Terry, is that we have a whole suite of weather models, right? And we rely on a few bigger ones kind of this far out, right? So we have the Canadian model, the European model, and the American model, the GFS. Each of them have a different type of precipitation falling for us. So we have one that's far to the north, what you kind of just saw there. That's a rain event. Then you have one that's splitting the difference, kind of a wintry mix, perhaps a little snow. And then you have one that's far enough south that we're dry all day Friday, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where the confidence level comes from. We don't have a definitive solution, and we would like to see a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think typically, as you get closer to the event, the models tend to converge on a solution.
Right.
And we also start getting additional higher res short-term models that give us even more perspective. So that's why I say another 24 hours. Typically, within 2 days of an event, we have a lot more information, a lot more data. So stay tuned for that. But anyways, the weekend looks quiet on Saturday. However, again, quick moving pattern. Here comes another sort of relatively weak storm out of like Canada. Could be some light snow in the air at Sunday afternoon and evening. Not expecting a major storm again, but just another period of precipitation to deal with.
Absolutely.
As we go forward.
Which happens to also be Groundhog's Day.
Groundhog Day. And so Jacob will be on the air Sunday morning for the big announcement.
Yeah, we'll see.
And not only do we have Puxatawny Phil to look forward to, but for anyone that's been tuning into BZ over the last 20 or so years, Miss G at Drumlin Farm in Lincoln will also have her forecast Sunday morning. So,
do you want to put a prediction out there?
I mean, so my prediction is, again, Sunday morning we probably have a little bit of sun before that snow comes in, which means locally, anyways, they'll, Miss G will probably see her shadow.
Okay.
And that, I believe that means more winter. I don't know. As you can tell, the groundhog is not our specialty.
So do you think there will be, though, more winter or early spring?
I think February is going to feel milder, but I wouldn't rule out a snowstorm or two.
Okay,
so take that as you, I don't know.
So not an early spring.
I don't think so.
Continued winter, 6 more weeks of winter. All right, I think 6 more weeks of winter. So whatever shadow or not.
Whatever that means.
6 more weeks of winter. We are going to be seeing our 5 p.m. sunsets.
This is some good news we leave you with right here. Yeah, so not only, starting tomorrow, the sunrises go pre-7 a.m. So we get earlier sunrises, which I gotta say, I wouldn't mind waking up and it being sunny out.
Yeah.
But on Sunday, not only is it Groundhog's Day, but it's the first 5 p.m. sunset, and that is glorious to me. Like that is one of the true signs that we're moving ahead. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
The seasons are, well, I'm gonna say it's changing just yet, but nonetheless, that's good news. So, and we regain more than 2 minutes of daylight every day now. So
that's pretty
great
nice
stuff. I only threw this map in because for the first time, and I can't remember when, this is an outlook from NOAA 1 to 2 weeks out. We're not blue. Like we're in the sort of neutral zone, the warmer to the south, colder in the north and west, but it doesn't show, for the last, I feel like month, we've been in the more cold, more blue. This is, I feel like, a lot what February is going to look like. You got warm and cold kind of fighting, and we're going to be in the middle.
Yep.
So that gives you.
And so what this is describing is the chance that you have above average. So, for example, southeastern U.S., you have a really high chance of above average temperatures. Meanwhile, in the northwest, you have a really high chance of below average temperatures. As Terry mentioned, we're kind of stuck in the middle there. We're going to see some roller coasters.
Yep. And I think that cold air that's been centered over sort of the Midwest and Northeast might be retrograding west.
Starts to migrate back to the west.
We'll see how February goes, but at least for the next 7, no major warm-ups. Although for us lately, 340s on the 7 day is something to make note of.
It's been a little while since we've seen that. Terry and I mentioned it yesterday that we really didn't have our January thaw. We'll see if February gives us, kind of consistent, maybe 2 or 3 days of well above average temperatures. It's really been a flipping of the script where we've had the well below average temperatures throughout much of January. Again, we'll see how it plays out, but we're watching Wednesday for the chance of some early morning snow showers and then snow squalls in the afternoon. Chilly stuff to start Thursday. Chance of some precipitation. Jury's still out on Friday. And then Sunday into Monday, a chance for some.
A lot of action. Nothing major, no major nor'easters, but just a lot of stuff to keep track of.
Yeah.
But the most important thing on that map is, of course, the groundhog, right?
Groundhog, very important.
We speak sarcastically about the groundhog here.
We love to hate them.
Right. It's almost like the Farmer's Almanac forecast that comes out in like August. And everybody in the newsroom is like, did you see it's going to be a snowy winter? Okay, all right, cool.
Again, we love to hate it.
Well, yeah, so tune in Sunday morning for Jacob's full presentation of what the groundhog.
I should go out and get like a groundhog like costume.
I like it.
And then people will believe me that much more.
You should wear a groundhog costume Sunday on the air.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Wheels are turning. All right, we appreciate you tuning in. Please be safe out there. We appreciate you watching CBS News Boston. Have a great day, everyone.